Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Okay?
Now you're more fluent.
Mackinac, he's got three!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to the All American Hoops Podcast, episode 27. I'm your host, Chris Driscoll. We got a great show ahead of us today. As per usual, I'm joined by my younger brothers, John and Matt. Super excited to begin the show. Obviously, we'll be talking about some NBA Finals action. Been a great start for the Celtics, defending home court advantage, which hasn't been given the past few years. So it's not even this year because they didn't defend home court in the first and second round either. So obviously something that you love to see as a Celtics fan. And obviously we're going to have to discuss the unfortunate news of Kristaps Porzingis potentially having to miss some time. Too much about that, but yeah, we'll definitely dive pretty deep into that. And then after that, we're going to do something new to the show. It's definitely not new to podcast. You see that all the time. I'll be giving John and Matt some, not even a trivia question. It'll be like I give them a list of players who have done certain things, and and this is the All American Hoops Podcast. Welcome to the show. As per usual, joined by my older brother, John Driscoll.
Hey, H, thanks for having me on, man.
And my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Chris, thank you for having me on. I'm just going to get out in front and take full accountability for the pod starting late tonight. Got stuck in a little bit of traffic, but on my way home from work, it was my second day in the office today ever. The bright side is I only have 50 more years of this. So, we're looking positive. We're looking good.
That's until
officially on the work.
ESPN starts paying us for this podcast.
That's true. That's
we
true.
And we can be all right. We're good to go.
Yeah, nothing like a reality check, like having to show up to things late because of work. That's definitely some grown-upping right there. Cool. So, so as I mentioned in the intro, we are beginning to talk. We're going to begin the show with talking about some NBA Finals action. Obviously, very good start for the Celtics. They're up 2-0. We're actually just going to start up by talking about Game 1 because and pretty. But yeah, the Celtics won in pretty big fashion on Thursday nights. It was awesome to see. But it was definitely a lot to look at from the game in different standpoints. Obviously, you can say there wasn't really much to complain about, especially given that they played so great without Tatum. But John, I was wondering if you had any feedback on the game from that perspective.
Yeah, I think Game 1 was a really, really great kind of punch in the mouth from the Celtics. They kind of dominated all aspects of the game, and even with their superstar not really playing, I thought Tatum played a lot better in Game 2, even if his shooting splits, both games his shooting splits were awful. Let's keep that, let's be real with that. But just to talk about the overall game, I think you're seeing, and unfortunately we'll talk about this later on in the show, but you're seeing the impact of a healthy Kristaps Porzingis. That first quarter was all Kristaps, and he played awesome on both ends. You're seeing the rim protection. You're seeing the high post mismatches. There's no one in the league that can guard him on that high post mismatch. And I mean, I'd be foolish to not. I don't want to take away all the talking points here, but I'd be foolish not to mention Jaylen Brown in both games. But it's especially it was kind of magnified last Thursday night with just both sides of the ball absolutely dominating, taking on the Luka Doncic matchup and just flourishing. He's been great. He's been a leader. He's been one of the best. I'm not going to pin him against Tatum. He's been one of the best players on the team. He's been truly phenomenal this whole entire playoffs. And I think it showed really, it showed a lot on Thursday.
Yeah, John, you made a lot of good points. You said we'll talk about the Porzingis news later, but game one just showed how important he is. I've been saying it all year that he is the X factor of the team. He's a matchup nightmare for opposing teams. He had 20 points in 20 minutes. And let me see what he shot. Sorry, 8 of 13 from the field. It felt like he was 8 of 8. Actually, I remember screaming at the TV because he missed one righty layup. But obviously, Porzingis played super well. And people are like, it's never, praising the Celtics now. It's always, this is the super team. It's which is somehow Tatum's fault that he has a good team now. But it just shows you how deep this team is and how great this team is, that when Tatum hasn't been shooting the ball well, Johnny mentioned that he did play better in game 2, even though he shot the ball worse. He shot 6 of 16 in game 1. That's just awful. It's, there's no running away from that. But Brown stepped up. He's, been playing unbelievable all playoffs, especially the last couple of series. Al Horford had 10-7. He's been awesome since the Porzingis injury, and even when Porzingis has come back, he's still been great for his age, and even just taking the lesser role. Drew Holiday was awesome in game 1, even better game 2. We'll talk about game 2 in a minute, but everyone played well besides Tatum shooting.
And just to kind of one thing to note, Jaylen Brown, 22, 6 and 5, and he was 6 of 11 from the free throw line. Like, this very well could have been a high 20-point game. Only took 12 shots, 7 of 12 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. So, I mean, he was getting to him and Tatum both games 1 and 2. I mean, and that being said, Drew and Derek at the same time too. They've been getting to the rim at will, and we won't talk about Tatum's finishing at the rim, but Jaylen Brown's getting to the rim at will and finishing. And exploiting those mismatches.
Absolutely great points. And yeah, obviously some great stuff from our Celtics. I think one of the best things that they did in game 1 was really making sure that's really defending everyone else. And yeah, Luka was only able to cop out one assist from them. Part of that you can blame on Luka for not finding the right man, but I really think that you can really more so credit that to the Celtics defense for really just trying to make Luka beat them. That's it's working so far. Might have to make some adjustments from here on that, and I probably would have said that even if Porzingis wasn't even Porzingis was full and healthy for game 3, but we know that's not a guarantee so far. And we'll talk about Tatum like more so with the game 2 aspect of it, just because like I really feel like it was more emphasized in game 2. But I just feel like that every Celtic is just doing what they need to what they need to do to win now. If you're like Horford's not really shooting great from 3, but he's still doing his best. He's grabbing his boards and he's still playing some solid defense. This team is in it to win it, and it's pretty tough. Like when you're in a league, you're paid to just dominate. This team doesn't. This team lets all their egos aside, and something that's really, really great to see. But yeah, that's like I said, like that's more of like a big picture thing. But but like for game 1, it was just great to see them like really punch the Mavs in the mouth from the opening tip, and then when the Mavs like came crawling back, like they were really putting up a good fight in the third quarter. As we knew, it would eventually be turned into an 8-point game when at one point it was 27. Then the Celtics came back, punched them right in the mouth again. I think it was a 14-0 run. They went on and they ended up winning the game by 18. So it's just the same thing we've been seeing all year long. Like obviously the Celtics team does have a history of like not the Celtics team, but the Celtics have had a history of folding when things get tough. But this Celtics team seems to thrive whenever they hit any type of adversity. So that's just something that I've really, really enjoyed watching all season long.
Chris, I would like to add one more point about you mentioned it, Luka having 1 assist. I think that is a lot of credit to Joe Mazzulla. Coming into the series, they emphasized taking away corner threes, and they emphasized taking away the lob threat from Derek Lively. And I believe he only has 4 points in 2 games, or maybe 2 points. I think it's 4 points in 2 games. Credit to Joe Mazzulla, and it's also a negative towards the Mavericks role players. I know we slander Luka a lot here, but the Mavericks role players do have to step up and do have to hit these threes that the Celtics defense has done a great job in taking away. I saw a stat that Luka is the only Maverick in the series to have multiple 3-pointers. That's ridiculous. Role players and the most skilled player, quote unquote, what people are saying, Kyrie Irving has to step up and he has to start making shots.
Yeah, I was almost a little concerned coming into this podcast because I was thinking like, oh, we only have like 2 games to talk about, but there is so much to review. There are so many aspects you can kind of look at from both games. I mean, we could talk about each game for 30 minutes because there are so many different, I feel like every tactic now is so overanalyzed, and that's a good thing. I think it's pretty cool to kind of look at different things, different chess moves that each team and each coach is using. And Matt, you touched on it. The Celtics are putting one guy on Luka. Teams in the past have doubled Luka with the ball, and Luka's too smart of a player to not make the right play. And when you double somebody like Luka, he's going to find those role players. He's going to find Kyrie in a single matchup or even wide open for 3, and they will make those shots. But the Celtics have done this in the past. Brad Stevens did it a bunch of times with Joel Embiid. You let him get his 30 and 10. You let him because, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Joel Embiid, these guys, when faced with one-on-one matchups, they're too skilled to not score. They're going to get their buckets. They're going to get their points. But when you're not leaving these role players open on the perimeter or open for the lob, it takes away a huge aspect of their offense. And I think that's just a great game plan. Let's see how the Mavericks kind of counter it, and I'm assuming they will in Game 3. But I really like how the Celtics have defended Luka Doncic. They have, really just and that being all said, they put one guy on Luka and he will get his points, but they're sending JB, JT, Drew Holiday, Derek White. These guys aren't slouches on defense. They're going to make it difficult for him. He'll get his, but you've seen in the fourth quarter, he kind of gets a little gassed because he is asked to do a lot with this defensive scheme.
Yeah, it kind of comes back to the argument.
Absolutely.
I mean to cut you off, Chris. I was just
no. Keep going, Matt. Keep going. Yeah.
Comes back to the argument of the high usage rate. Luka has the ball for 16 seconds at least of every single possession, and you saw in the first quarter he came out of game. I know we're talking about Game 1, but really Game 2, I forget how many points he had in the first quarter, but I believe it was 12. I think he missed 1 or 2 shots. Second quarter, I think he missed 1 shot. He was truly unbelievable. And then third quarter, he slowed down a little bit. And then the fourth quarter, he shot 1 of 6 and turned the ball over a couple times. I mean, I can't blame him for being gassed. He's asked to do everything on the offensive end. So I don't know if what the Mavs can do to counter it, but I guess let the role players involved more, and that is on the role players to hit their shots earlier in the games to get them going.
It's so weird that you say that Luka is asked to do so much because in the week leading up to the NBA Finals, all I heard was that they had the best backcourt of all time. Where is the second half of that backcourt? Kyrie Irving wants to, hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That Celtics, that TD Garden crowd, it gets to him. And he can stand there and do that whole little thing in the media where he doesn't act like it. It bothers him. And I'm sure he's going to have a really good Game 3 because he'll be back at home. He'll be more comfortable. And we talked about this on the podcast. He is a vibes player. When he's happy, when things are going well, that's when he's at his best. When things kind of don't go well for him, when the crowd's yelling at him and he's yelling back, that's when he struggles. So, like I said, I imagine he's going to have a much better Game 3. But, the Mavericks need both. The Mavericks have gotten excellent games from Luka, but they need excellent games from Kyrie Irving in order to be successful as well.
Great stuff. So we touched a little bit there on the series as a whole, which is awesome. But I did want to dive a little deeper into Game 2 as well. As Matt mentioned towards the beginning, so Luka did carry in the first half. Yeah, I don't know if it was 12, but he definitely. I think he did have because I know the 2 only had 2. I think it was 4 points in the fourth quarter. It was either 2 or 4 points in the fourth quarter. But yeah, so absolutely, yeah, it was clearly gassed by the end of the game. They had him guarding Al Horford in the fourth quarter. I think that's a testament to a couple of things. Obviously, you do how gassed he is. You can also blame it on injury because he is getting some type of injection before game 2 or did before game 2, and he is getting one before game 3 as well, supposedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. So yes. So there's that. And I'm not gonna bash the guy too much because I don't want to look like an idiot like a week or two from now. Like if especially if he comes back and has this awesome, which he has been playing awesome, but if he has like a comes back great defensively as well. But it's just pretty tough to. So like getting all exhausted by the end of the game. And yeah, like I know you can blame injury and like how much the load he has to carry, but I'm not asking him to guard Tatum. I'm not even asking him to guard Brown. But to have like him guard Horford then having either Gafford or Lively guard either one of the two stars or one of the guards. That's kind of a tough look on the guy that's supposed to be the best player in the league. The only two guys that are guaranteed ahead of him in my book are Jokic and Giannis, but I don't know. Like, and I'm not going to trash him too much just because I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt for now. But I do know if this was Steph Curry, if it was LeBron James, the media wouldn't be too sympathetic towards them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Chris. People are saying that like Jason Kidd's game plan is to have the Celtics drive. Like Luka's flushing guys into the middle. That's an awful game plan. I don't know like why somebody would let guys blow by him. I don't know why that's the game plan. I guess technically like the Celtics offense hasn't been great. They only scored 105 points the second game. I think they scored 107 the first game. But I feel like they're just missing open shots. I feel like it's not a testament to Dallas's defense. Dallas's defense on Tatum has been great. I will say that, they're sending doubles, they're sending triples. They're making him make passes. They're making him take tough shots. But the perimeter defense really needs to be improved. If I'm Jason Kidd, I'm getting on Kyrie. I'm getting on Luka to make it harder. Even if they are getting to the middle, just make them work a little bit more. Make them use a little bit more shot clock. The driving kicks, they're driving and kicking to Drew Holiday in the corner, who was the best corner 3-point shooter in the league this year. So I don't know if that's the scheme, but if it is, they should change it.
I don't think that we'd be sitting here with like egg on our face come next week when Luka averages 45 over the next 2 games, because I don't think that's our slander towards him at all. No, I think we've been very, I don't know what the correct word is, but like we've given him his props. He's been excellent offensively, and I only had 1 assist game 1, but like who cares? He had 11 game 2. But it's like extremely noticeable hit him on defense. And like you said, they said the Mavericks defensive scheme is to let guys drive by you. I don't see how that's beneficial to anyone if you just let somebody drive by you and then somebody else guarding the corner or guarding the dunk spot has to help, because that just leaves that guy open. So, I mean, either Jason Kidd is a complete moron or Luka Doncic is getting blown by consistently. So as great as he's been offensively in games 1 and 2, he needs to be better defensively if the Mavericks want to kind of punch back in this series.
Absolutely. Yeah, a couple other notes for game 2. And you know what, actually, like we touched on him a little bit about how he needs to shoot better. It's really interesting though, just because I've actually been kind of pleased with the way that I've seen a lot of people talk about him. Like not really like I'm not really talking about like the regular mainstream media. I'm talking about like a lot of like the basketball analysts that I follow. Like like a couple like the others like Hoop Venue I've mentioned on the show before, Jackson Frank. I've seen like a lot of people give him his flowers, which he deserves. And he's getting his deserved slander for missing his shots, especially. He's not really punching back the haters too hard on the whole being extremely inefficient because I'm pretty sure, like, based on like numbers, like based on like the minimum amount of games played, Tatum does have the worst free throw percentage in NBA Finals history. That being said, if you're gonna shoot very bad from the fields, and do everything else right, which he's been awesome at everything else. He's been finding the right pass at all times. He's been rebounding the hell out of the ball, taking on the tough defensive tasks. We saw him guard Kyrie at the end of the game there. That's what a superstar does. And I understand, like, you want your superstars to hit their shots and do some of that extra stuff, maybe not to the extent that Tatum has been doing, but when you're not going to shoot well, like, I feel like most stars around the league, and you can even list off like all the all-time greats. Most of them, when they're not shooting the ball well, like, that's like usually just a bad game from them. I'm not seeing that from Tatum. Like I'm not saying that he's playing very good, but he's having a very, very solid finals. Like, I would give it probably like a B. Like, again, if you look at his shooting splits and his points per game, you would think like, oh, there's like a C minus, D, even an F, but that's not the way that I see it at all.
I will say, although I do agree with some points of what you're saying, like, he is doing other things better. If you're a top 5 player, you have to be efficient. Yeah. We were talking about this the other day. Like, you want to be in the conversations with Jokic. No, I don't think anybody's really in the conversation with Jokic, but you want to be in the conversation for top 5 with Luka, with Giannis, with Curry, with all these guys. You gotta, be efficient in these games. I know you're seeing double teams. I know you're seeing triple teams, but like, some of the shots you have been missing have been not awful looks. So that's my point. If you're going to be top 5, you got to make your shots.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And I was going to mention that as well. He's been pretty much excellent in all aspects of the game, aside from scoring, and that's kind of almost the biggest aspect. That's the one that kind of is reflected the most. That's what a lot of people who, box score watch or even just watch the game can notice. And he's missing a lot of, contested layups, but you've seen him make those shots in the past. And I think, I think Joe Mazzulla has been absolutely awesome in these finals, but maybe it's on Joe to maybe help him out, try to get something to get him in space away from these double teams. I know it's easier said than done. But, I do need to see a lot bit more on the scoring side from Tatum. But, I mean, this is kind of what I was thinking of, and we can talk about this a little bit. I know it's obviously on an enormously bigger scale, but when you take like a volume scorer, and Tatum was a volume scorer for the first 4 years of his career, and then Ime came in, he kind of gave him that challenge to become a better playmaker, and you've seen him take strides becoming a better playmaker, and you've seen him even more this playoffs. When teams throw doubles at him, he makes the right pass. Sometimes it's tough and that's why Luka and these guys who put up good scoring numbers and high assist numbers are so impressive to me, because it's really tough sometimes to like make the right play all the time, but also like get your bucket in a sense, get to your spots. It's sometimes tough to like figure out when's the right time to do that. So not to make an excuse for him, but I think he just needs to work a little bit more on kind of finding those spots when it's okay to go ISO, when it's okay to take the ball yourself, and then finding out also when it's the right time to make the right play. So it's tough to kind of find that balance, but I think he will.
Man, I'm happy that you were the one to hold Tatum accountable there, because it wasn't going to be me. So,
that's me. I'm just a non-biased guy.
A perfect segue over to the next. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. We don't do that on the show. Yeah. We only give facts when we never show any type of bias. So, geez, I wish the internet here is so shitty. That leads us toward the next segment of being of working on adjustments. So, Matt, did you have any besides Tatum really just like getting a shot back? Did you what do you think? What's main adjustments do you think the Celtics should make in order to capitalize their 2-0 lead?
I do think they've been playing well. I don't think there's a lot of adjustments to make. I don't know if this is really an adjustment, but the bench guys kind of have to step up. Pritchard in the first game, I feel like he didn't make a shot. I feel like he did play well though. He has every game I feel like he gets like 2 timely offensive rebounds. Obviously in game 2, his first field goal in the finals was that bomb of a 3 to end the third quarter, right as the Mavs were on a little bit of a run. That was awesome. But I guess that's mainly at like Sam Hauser. The first game he went 3 for 4, went 2 for 2 from 3. That was obviously, I thought that would be like, a little momentum for him. But then the next game he came in game 2. I don't think he made a 3. I think he had 2 free throws. That was it. But I think it's bench guys to step up a little bit. And I think that another adjustment would be to hit the momentum threes. We talked about this a lot during the game. It would be like the Celtics would go up 10, and then we'd be like, all right, like this is it. They'd get a stop. They'd be in transition. They have a wide open 3, and they just miss it. I'm going to check right now. Does anyone have off the top of their head what they shot from 3 last game?
The Celtics in game 2 shot 25% from 3.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I feel like some of them were in open looks. Like the Mavs are doing a good job with that, but I feel like a good amount of them were kind of open threes. So I guess it's like kind of a easy thing to say. It's just make your shots would be my my adjustment. Make your shots and make your momentum like the big ones.
Yeah, I think there's not much, I would say, that aren't like obvious solutions or like adjustments to be made. I mean, it's tough. It's tough just when you're up 2-0, but it's also like there are definitely things to work on. And I think like it's easy to say like they should make more threes because they should. Yeah. And they shot their season average in game 1 at 38%, and then they really struggled until the fourth quarter. They made a couple of threes in the fourth quarter, but those first 3 quarters, they really, really struggled from 3. They've won the turnover battle both games. I think that's important. But Matt, like you said, like the role players or the bench players need to step up, and the role players, bench players for the Mavs really haven't on the road. And that's the whole kind of saying, is that these bench and role players, they play better at home because, you get the crowd bumping with you. It's a little easier. I will say that PJ Washington has played pretty well for the Mavs. He's been a very good number 3 option. He might have been. I think he's probably been playing better than Kyrie with factoring defense. But I will say you need to keep winning the rebounding battle. They won the offensive board battle in both games too. But I think it's it comes down to Sam Hauser. It's kind of tough sometimes to like get on the 7th or 8th guy. But a lot of these, like he's here for that, right? He's here to make those momentum threes, those open looks, because they'll be open when they're doubling and tripling Tatum. So it's important to knock them down. It's not really a schematic adjustment, but it's just simple as that. I will say, I mean, it hasn't been said yet, but I think because of how the Celtics won both games, like people, like a lot of the national media or like some people have been kind of saying like the series is over. The series doesn't start until someone loses at home. Mm-hmm. And, you saw back in 2021 with the Bucks, exactly. The Phoenix Suns won both first 2 games at home. And I think in game 2, they smoked the Bucks, absolutely blew them out. And I think, you can make your arguments about Luka versus Tatum or whatever, but in these first 2 games, Luka has looked like, defensive side, the best player on the court. And Giannis was the best player on the court in that series. So it's really important to, I wouldn't even say game 3 is a must win, but you have to take at least one in Dallas if you're the Boston Celtics. Yep. The series is far from over. These are, series, especially the NBA Finals, they're momentum based, so you have to make sure you don't let Dallas gain any kind of significant momentum. But I think the Celtics have been playing pretty well, just from their like what they want to be or who they want to be. So I don't think any serious adjustments are to be made necessarily, but they need to just keep up what they've been doing.
Not to cut you off again, Chris. Sorry. You said you don't think Game 3 is a must-win, which is interesting because Vegas does not believe that the Celtics will win. The Mavericks are 2.5-point favorites. They opened at 1.5, and the line has gone to 2.5. I think that's pretty interesting.
I wagered 20 of my hard dollars on the Celtics money line for that. So that'll be a crushing loss if they lose tomorrow.
I might put all the money in my DraftKings on the Celtics. All 93 cents might go on the money line tomorrow.
So, and we'll touch on the Porzingis injury now a little bit because obviously really tough blow. Like obviously it's something you never want to see one of your star players go down. But one silver lining I think could actually be is that the Mavs don't have they played like the Celtics played him without played without him for more than half of the series, but he was still extremely important to them. The Mavs don't have a ton of film on without Porzingis at this point. So they're gonna have to use more of the minutes from Horford and those guys. They're gonna have to use either Cornette, Tillman, or Shea Brissett minutes probably. One of many more minutes from them. It'll be almost. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but like one silver lining could be that the Celtics are now. They could have the upper hand and where they have more to plan with. Porzingis being out than the Mavs see it. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I think Porzingis is a huge loss for the Celtics. If I were a betting man, I would say I don't really feel confident in him. I've seen like multiple things on both sides of the argument, but I just don't feel confident in him playing unless it's like a game 7. It's really tough. He provides them with so much versatility on offense and such great rim protection on defense. So it's going to be a tough loss, but I think this is kind of the time, and we touched on it in the group chat a little bit earlier today. This is the time where Tatum has to be Tatum. I mean, he needs to step up. He needs to be better. And you know, we love Jason Tatum. We talked about how great he's been on every kind of other aspect, but he needs to score the ball more efficiently and, you know, just more overall. But just with Porzingis, I think that it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do with who's going to take those minutes. Obviously, Horford will see an uptick and an increase of his minutes, but who's going to replace him, right? You have a couple different options. You can go small ball with O'Shea. You can go, let's call it medium ball with Xavier Tillman, or you can go kind of more rim protection avenue with Luke Cornette. I think if you want to stick, I mean, obviously you value rim protection, but if you want to stick with that switch on everything, don't double Luka, take away the corner and the lob, maybe you go with Tillman. I think he probably provides you with like, I don't even know how to kind of average them offensively, but I think if you're just speaking from a defensive standpoint, I think he's your best bet just on defense because it kind of gives you that you can continue that switch everything, you know, kind of defense. But it'll be interesting to see. I think all three options kind of provide benefits and also some, you know, some cons as well.
Yeah, I do agree that we probably won't see Porzingis unless it is a game 6 or a game 7, which stinks. John, you sent a tweet earlier today. The Porzingis injury is very rare. A 2006 study said that there were just 32 documented cases of Porzingis' injury in all of English literature. That's insane. That's unbelievable. But I don't know which way Joe's going to go with who's going to get more minutes. Maybe Luke, because it takes away the lob threat more, I would say, just because of his rim protection. I wouldn't hate O'Shea Brissett minutes. I know Tillman hasn't been really great on since coming to the Celtics. He's kind of just been thrown in on the mix. But yeah, who's to say? I hope for Luke Cornette, more Luke minutes, just purely based on vibes.
It's not at all bad reason. Yeah, it may seem like yeah, and I know that people cringe at the idea of intangibles, but the guys love Luke Cornette, and I really don't think that they're going to hate playing with him for just a few minutes a game because these are very, very important minutes to play, but it won't be for a long time. But I just really hope that they adjust well to this. An ideal situation would be the Celtics win game 3 and then kind of like without Porzingis and then kind of just ease him back in for games 4 and maybe game 5. But they should be able to win the series without Porzingis, especially with the 2-0 lead. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Tim Hardaway Sr. came out the other day and said the Celtics are better without Porzingis. I don't know what these guys are watching. I don't get it. I mean, they're not watching. I mean, that kind of
obviously not. Yeah. Yeah. They're. I don't even know. Like. Okay, so that leads us to the final segment of the day. So, John and Matt, I'm just wondering, how much prep have you guys done for your for my knowledge of throwing questions out at you guys? Because usually it's my thing to answer a ton of tough questions, but I'm taking the back seat today. How are you guys feeling?
Very not confident.
Very not confident is exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. So, since that is the case, I'm going to start off with, I think, what's going to be a little bit easier. We have 3 different lists I'm going to throw at you. The first list is going to be all time, and it's a lot of the guys that we have that are like on the top of people's lists. So with a Finals MVP, Luka Doncic would be the 14th player to ever have 5 first-team All-NBAs and a Finals MVP. Who are the other 13 guys?
5 first-team All-NBAs and a first-team All-MVP? Or first-team All-NBA?
So 5 first-team All-NBAs and a Finals MVP.
All right. You can go first, Matt.
All right. Want to do like 1 and 1?
Yeah.
All right. I am going to go with Tim Duncan.
Is on the list.
LeBron James
is on the list.
Probably a safer option. LeBron. Michael Jordan.
Did not make the list. Kidding. Isn't made the list.
Shaq.
Shaq did make the list.
So that's 4, right?
That is 4.
Dirk.
Dirk did not make the list.
Damn it. I'm thinking of guys that played forever.
Yeah.
Larry Bird
is on the list.
There's 14?
13.
Magic Johnson
is on the list.
Steph Curry
did not make the list.
Maybe he didn't have 5.
He does not have 5 first-team All-NBAs. I think he has 4.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
made the list.
Trying to think of dynasties. When did they start doing All-NBA teams?
All-NBA teams? They've been doing them forever.
Oh, so Bill Russell?
So Bill Russell is not on the list because the Finals MVP trophy is named after him. That started in 1969, which was the last year that Bill Russell won, which was Bill Russell's last ring, 1969.
Oh, so he didn't win Finals MVP that year?
No, that was no Jerry. Someone else won that year.
Jerry West.
Whoa, good pull, John. Good pull.
Look at me trying to me in the ass there.
Well, what do we have? 6?
We have 6.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys left.
All right, I'm gonna go with.
Okay, so you guys listed off. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
I'm gonna go with somebody that limited a 7-foot Hall of Famer to 36% in the finals. Hakeem Olajuwon
made the list. So you guys have LeBron, Kareem, Duncan, West, MJ, Bird, Magic, Shaq, Hakeem. We got 3 more guys.
Kevin Durant
made the list.
Did Kobe? Did we not say Kobe yet?
We did not say Kobe yet. My cord may have been covering him actually because we do have one more guy.
One more guy.
Let me know if you guys want a hint for this one. Oh, wait, 2 more guys. Sorry.
2 more guys.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have one or you want to take a hint?
Giannis.
Giannis made the list. We got 1 more guy now.
Okay. I'm trying to think who won finals MVPs. because I feel like that would be easier. Isaiah Thomas. I
Did
don't
not
know.
make the list.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah, he competed with Magic a lot for those first team All-NBAs.
Not Dwayne Wade.
Not Dwayne Wade. Competed with Kobe and with a lot of the other point guards.
Let's see. Early 2000s. All right, let's see a hint. Let's hear a hint.
A hint. Okay. This guy is a center.
Center, okay. David Robinson.
Did not make the list.
Did he win Finals MVP one year?
No,
Regular MVP.
I think he has 2 rings. One of them, 99 Duncan won it, and then 2003.
Duncan.
It was Duncan also, yeah. So, you guys already said Duncan, so yeah, didn't need to didn't show off any, didn't give you any answers there.
Centers.
Was he picked in our draft?
He was not picked in our draft, actually, and I don't even think we mentioned him in the. I don't think we even mentioned him in the honorable mentions, honestly.
Okay. Is he an older guy?
Yes.
Okay.
2-time champion, 1-time Finals MVP.
Bill Walton? No, he didn't win. He didn't make 5 All-NBA teams.
He's on my team.
Oh, that's fact. All right, that's right.
The Vibes team.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's gonna be devastated if we don't get this, John.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an old center.
He's definition of who you think of when you think of old centers. Like you list off who the best centers of all time. He's on that list.
So let's go through that list. Bill Russell, Wilt.
Yeah.
Made the list. Last guy on the list, Wilt Chamberlain. All right, not bad. Yeah, you only got like a couple answers drawn there. So yeah. Definitely don't feel too opposite of confident. I'm trying to think of the word there. Yeah, there. So we got two more lists here. I think this one's gonna be easier for us. I don't know if it's easier overall, but for you guys, I think it might be easier. The Celtics are now playing in their NBA Finals. This era of basketball, this group is only made it for the second time, so none of these guys are on the list. But I'm asking for the 10 most points ever scored by the Celtics. Who scored the most points playing for the finals as a Celtic?
Per game or total?
Total.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
Larry Bird.
Made the list. Number
How
5.
many people? 5?
10.
Number
John
5.
Number 4.
Bill Russell.
Number 1.
Is Pierce on the list?
Pierce did not make the list. He only made the finals twice, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
What about McHale?
Kevin McHale is number 9 on this list.
Is Bob Cousy on the list?
Bob Cousy is number 6 on this list.
What about Heinsohn?
Tommy Heinsohn is number 3 on this list.
So what spots don't we
hang
have?
on. So it's hang on a second. This is episode number 27. I think it's kind of a disgrace that none of us brought up Tommy Heinsohn in 27 episodes. That's very sad that we didn't do that, but it's okay though. Yeah, we got to hold ourselves accountable every once in a while.
What spots are left? What spots are
left? We have the spot number 2 is up here, and spots number 7, 8, and 10.
Okay.
2 of them are going to be a little tough for you to get, but I think you might be able to get it.
2, 8, and 10. Is
2, 7, 8, 2, 7, 8, 10. Dennis Johnson did not make the list.
Not Ainge, right?
Danny Ainge is one of the. I think he was number 16 on this list when I checked.
I'm trying to think of old guys.
Cedric Maxwell.
Cedric Maxwell did not make the list.
Yeah, he might be very far off that list.
I'm thinking of guys from like the 60s.
Yeah, Heinzen, Kuzi, Havlicek.
Frank Ramsey.
Frank Ramsey's number 7 on this list. So he's one of the two guys. We have 2 more old timers, then 1 more other old time ish.
I was looking at old Celtics trivia the other day. Not the
Okay.
other day, sorry, at work today, and that's the reason why I knew.
Well,
Well,
at
not
work today. By at work today, do you mean right when I said we're doing Celtics trivia, and then you decided to pull up Sporco? Is that what you mean?
No, I swear.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have 2. We didn't get number 2 yet.
You didn't get number 2 yet. No, that's this guy's a considered Bill Russell's running mate. It's gonna. Matt McCann is definitely screaming at the screen now. Like the fact that you guys don't have this one yet.
Sam Jones.
Sam Jones is number 2 on this list. So we got number 8 and number 10. Another really old timer. I'm pretty sure he is on. I think he's on the NBA 75 list. And number 10.
KC Jones.
KC Jones is not on this list. Actually, both of these guys I think are on the NBA 75 list. I think. Wait, I actually don't know if the last guy is the one I'm talking about.
Not Robert Parrish.
Robert Parrish is number 10 on this list.
Nice, John. The Chief.
Was he on the NBA 75? I feel like he was. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I believe most games of all time, Robert Parrish.
That is correct. Most games of all time, yep.
Dave Cowens.
Dave Cowens is one of the first guys off this list. Parrish did make the 75th anniversary team, by the way.
What about JoJo White?
JoJo White is not on this list.
My mind's blank right now.
Can
I
you
did
give
want
us
to do one.
a era?
It's like Bill Russell. It's like Bill Russell era.
That's tough.
He also happens to have the same first name as Bill Russell.
All right, give me a second here.
He's not really well known. So yeah, so I'm not mad at you guys for not getting this one. And I don't know if I would have gotten this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bill Sharman.
Oh, we should have got that.
It's a tough one. Okay. Last one. So, and this is technically a list of 9 guys because maybe you do the top 10 players, top 10 players top 10 players with the most playoff games who do not have a ring. Matt, would you like to go first?
Yeah, the most gorgeous NBA player of all time, Al Horford.
Number 2 on this list.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul is number 6 on this list.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley does not make the list.
Really?
Wait, the most
No, yeah,
amount
Chris-
of playoff
Chris-
games.
Playoff games, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised too. He was one of the first guys off the list.
Yeah, I feel like he's been on like some good teams too. That's why.
Yeah. So we got a couple guys in the 80s and the 90s. I think we got one current day player, one guy recently retired.
John Stockton.
John Stockton is number 3 on this list.
And then Karl Malone.
Karl Malone is number 1 on this list. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys left. If we had more time. Go ahead.
Is the current day player a former Celtic or no?
He's not a former Celtic.
Okay. John, you can start guessing if you have anybody.
I'm trying to think of the former player.
The guy that recently retired.
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin is not on this list.
That's not a horrible guess.
No, it's not at all. I do, however, have there are 2 players on this list that played on a relatively recent. It's not even that recent, yeah. So I kind of just get that were on the 2018 Cavs.
Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson, he has a ring with the Cavs in 2016.
Oh, damn it.
Derrick Rose,
Derrick Rose is not on this list.
2018 Cavs, you said?
Yes.
Who's on that team? It was
Jeff Green.
Jeff
won
Green
a-
did not make the list. Celtics legend.
he won a ring with the Nuggets last year.
That's right, he did.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Another ring. Sorry, this is not good.
It's okay.
Not-
It's a first time playing this game. Yeah, so yeah, it didn't give you guys any time to study. So
How many people do we have left?
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys left. Okay, so
Roll out some
okay,
hints.
okay, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So for the 2018 Cavs, think of the iconic LeBron James moments in 2018. The meme.
Oh, Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver. So Kyle Korver is one of those guys. That's okay. That's not who I was thinking of for the hint though. There's someone else with him going like this in the ugly face.
J.R. Smith.
Not J.R. Smith has the ring, but
right.
before that, right before
Oh,
that,
George Hill.
George Hill is number 8 in this list. Kyle Korver number 7 in the list.
I would have never gotten
Oh,
Never mind.
wait. Are there any more modern players?
There's one current day player.
Oh, James Harden.
James Harden is number 5 in this list.
Nice, John.
Yeah. We have two. So there are 2 more players that I want to give you hints for. This other guy I'm going to give it to you at the end. But we have one player, one of the best 3-point shooters of all time, has one of the most famous clutch shots of all time.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller's number 9 on this list.
We should have got that. We should have got that.
That's okay. Yeah. No. Like, if I gave you more time, maybe it would have. Maybe you would have. And then number 10 on this list is someone who is. I don't know if he still is, but he at one point was banned from the Madison Square Garden.
Charles Oakley.
Charles Oakley's number 10 on this list. And number 4, I really don't know much about this guy. Sam Perkins is number 4 on this list.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah.
Me neither. Absolutely not. So yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Chris, I actually have a trivia question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay. Sure.
This might be a layup for you, but I don't think I would have gotten this.
Okay.
So, what 2 teams have met in the NBA Finals the most, and how many times?
Is it not the Celtics and the Lakers?
It is the Celtics and Lakers. Do you know how many times?
12.
Yes.
Okay.
And
yeah.
What
Okay, go ahead.
year was the first time they met, and what was the series?
Was it 1952?
No, later than that. A little later than that.
Oh, it was later than that. Okay, so was it 1960, 50, 59?
Hmm?
59? Okay.
And do you know?
Oh, that's it?
No.
Okay. What was that?
Do you know what the series was?
59. Russell, it was one of Russell's first years. So, was it 4-1? Was it 4? What was it?
4-0. It was a clean sweep.
Oh, it was a sweep. Okay, awesome. All right, yeah. I can't complain too much there.
Yeah, you getting 12 off the bat is very impressive.
Well, yeah, because I figured like they each have 17, which fraudulent 17 for the Minneapolis Lakers, by the way. And yeah, so they didn't play each other a bunch of times before that. But all right, great, awesome. So yeah, we had to run a little late today. That's completely fine though. Yeah, due to some technical issues. Hopefully next week we can figure out, because it's the first time that really the Wi-Fi was crappy. But John, Matt, as per usual, thanks for coming on. Tomorrow we have Game 3 of the NBA Finals at 8:30. But before that, 8 o'clock, I will be on Ori B's show, the Content Hour. If you want to tune into that for a little pregame show, definitely better pregame show than what ESPN has on for that. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. Tune in if you can. But as per usual, great timing on the bottom as well. Go make sure you follow me, all American Hooper, on all social media platforms, on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Give a follow, subscribe, and give a follow to @SportsFluent, my producer, on YouTube, to catch us every episode on Tuesdays at 6. Also, take a look at my column at primetimesportstalk.com. They upload all these podcast episodes as well. So, yeah. Again, for those of you who are tuned in right now, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for watching the episode. For those of you who aren't tuning in until later, but hope everyone has a great night and let's go Celtics.
Go Celtics.